Hey, what's up, studs? Ryan here. We're MandRproductions with my review of the LEGO Star Wars 2008 Republic Attack Gunship. It is set number 7676 and was recommended for ages 9 to 14. You have 5 minifigures in the set, being Obi-Wan, Plo Koon, Asajj Ventress, Commander Cody, and a Clone Trooper. Very nice box art there. And on top of that, this set did retail for $120 when it was released back in 2008, and adjusted for inflation here in 2020, you're looking a little bit on the north side of $140 for this set. It does have that beautiful Wave 1 Clone Wars box art with just the very simplistic clone helmet there. It again shows the minifigures on the top of the box. Flipping around to the back, you'll of course get the full feature set of the gunship, including the back-to-tank, little mobile command center, the flick-fire missiles, the cockpit, and a little bit more. It also shows off some other sets that were available at the time, but very, very cool box. Really like the simplicity of this, but still a very different style than what we see today. I should also mention that if you do want a sealed version of this set now, it'll run you about $400, if not more. This can get really expensive depending on where you live and who you buy it from and if you get a good deal or not. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the minifigs included in the set. First up is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and this is the Clone Wars version of him, so he's got kind of those animated style eyes. A very different look stylistically than a lot of other Obi-Wan Kenobi minifigures, but this is also still 2008, so we're missing leg printing, any arm printing, back printing, just not there. No second face on this character either, although I would guess that if second faces were a thing back then, that this one wouldn't have had a second face anyway, because the beard would have extended below the hairline, so that's just something to keep an eye on there. But the beard does look quite nice on this character. I think they did a great job making it look pretty sharp. Again, those eyes are something that people either love or hate because of their animated look. He's got a regular blue lightsaber with the kind of disgusting light gray hilt. Like, it's the one hilt that I didn't love from LEGO. It was kind of their in-between between the chrome hilts of the early 2000s and the, like, now kind of intermediate, somewhat shiny chrome hilts that they have now that are better than these, but not as good as, like, the shiny chrome ones. But those ones had quality issues, so I kind of get it. But Obi-Wan figure, nice, but definitely not perfect. I think the Plo Koon minifigure is a vastly underrated LEGO Star Wars minifigure. The torso print is nice, but once again, you'll find there is a lack of leg or waist printing and no back printing, but I think that the headpiece for this Plo Koon is just incredible. They did a great job making it as accurate as possible. They used kind of a rubbery material, so it's not like a hard plastic material like some other LEGO minifigures have sometimes, but definitely an interesting material they use for the heads on some of these specialized characters. But they did a great job kind of dual molding in some gray and maybe even printing on some gray there, or painting on. Not really sure what his eyes are because I don't really know exactly how it's done, but it still looks very interesting and very accurate. He'll have the same blue lightsaber as Obi-Wan with the regular light gray hilt though. Perhaps the coolest character in this set, though, for some people would be Asajj Ventress. LEGO did an amazing job with this character, and they even gave her her own special lightsaber hilts, which they don't do for too many characters, but Ventress was one of those characters that they went ahead and molded their own lightsaber hilt for. So I really appreciated that for this character. She has 2 of them, and of course they have the red blades on there, which just looks great. Her printing is amazing, got those purple lines in there very nicely, and then she even does have a little printing on the back of the head. Unfortunately, again, no back print on the torso, but there is a nice little front print there. And then down underneath that, you have there's just regular like dark blue legs, but they're kind of covered up by that waist cape piece, which looks wonderful on the LEGO minifigure here. So great job with the Ventress minifigure back in 2008. You'll also get a regular Clone Trooper in this set, and it is nice to get a regular Clone Trooper. Love this Clone Wars style trooper. You've probably seen these before, but I just wish there were more in this set. For $120, you're only getting 5 minifigures. Why not throw in another 1 or 2 more Clone Troopers? The 2002 version of the gunship included 4 of these guys, or not the exact same style, but 4 Clone Troopers. So it would have been nice to get more Clone Troopers in a Clone Gunship. I guess the counter to that is that they did release a Clone Battle Pack a few months later that was $10 and had these Clone Troopers in it, so it wouldn't have been hard to get these troopers, but it just would be nice for when you're paying a lot of money to get more figures. I just feel like LEGO for some reason doesn't include enough Clone Troopers on a lot of sets like this, and it does have that classic Clone Wars style clone head. And finally, competing with Ventress for best figure in the set here, we have Commander Cody. Looks great in his Clone Wars outfit here with the little fin on the back there. Great printing all around on this character, much like Fox and Rex from the time. They just kind of have the same prints, just with color matching, so they're They're basically the same, just different colors, and then they have the same armor as well. That just kind of gets swapped out. Nice visor on here, can move up and down as you please. You can pull this off. You're not going to find a special face, just the regular clone face, because they are all clones, so they're all kind of the same. So that's interesting. Nice guns for him as well. Love the dual wield blasters that they give these guys. And to wrap up my talk on the minifigure selection, I just wish there were more clone troopers. I think they have a great selection of named characters with Cody, Ventress, Plo Koon, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I just wish there were 2 or 3 more of those regular clone troopers. It just would have been really nice to get more for a gunship to fill out the gunship, and unfortunately LEGO just doesn't do that with a lot of these sets, so that's just my one complaint with this set minifigure-wise. Otherwise, great job for 2008. Here is the fully finished gunship, stickers and all applied, and I did buy this set with brand new stickers, so you can see they are very shiny for being 12 years old at the time, but again, they look beautiful. You have a Salacious Crumb-like creature there on the side of the gunship as kind of the art, and he's dropping a bomb, and then it says something in Star Wars text, and I'm not exactly sure what that says. I'm sure some of you out there can read Star Wars or do know what that says and are able to decipher that down in the comment section below. You'll see the same exact sticker on the other side, and the set actually does include another set of side stickers for the side panel there. You can see a different creature there with different text, so that's kind of interesting, and I actually couldn't figure out where this large sticker goes, so that one is kind of a mystery to me. But let's go ahead and start at the front of the gunship, and it was a very great upgrade to the 2002 model. They fixed up a lot of things. Obviously, it's based off the Clone Wars versus Episode 2, so there are some differences where you don't have like the side bubble turret or anything, but it's still a much cleaner model in my opinion. They really fixed up a lot of stuff that was wrong with the original model, and starting up here in the front, you have a much more flush transition here from lime green to gray to white and into the cockpit area. Really in the cockpit area, this is a lot more flush than the 2002 version in my opinion. I just think it looks way better. They did still have the same cockpit pieces here, so you didn't get anything better in regards to the shaping on those, but in general, it just looks a lot better on the front end here. You also have these nice stickers that work their way up, and then some Republic insignias here, and unlike the 2002 version, these are attached to 4 studs instead of 2, and by that I mean on the 2002 version it was like this, and you would pick it up and sometimes you'd knock these off, so definitely some small improvements that go a long way on a set like this. Both cockpits can open up, and you'll find some control panel stickers there. You'll also find those stickers on the wings, which we'll get to momentarily, but I mean, one of the biggest downfalls of this set to me is just the lack of minifigures, like I mentioned earlier, and no pilot minifigures, so you actually are just kind of left with your regular clone trooper here to put in as your gunship pilot, which I really don't appreciate. Nonetheless, he fits nice and snugly into the cockpit spot for him. There's another spot again in the back, so if you do have another clone trooper laying around, you can definitely fill that out quite nicely, but included in the set is not enough to quite do that, but does look good enough in there. Moving our way up the middle section of the gunship, we have this here, and we can lift this on up, and we'll actually find a couple of like probe or spy droids or something of the sort here included in the set, and these are not my favorite things ever that have been included in a LEGO Star Wars set. I'm sure some people got some enjoyment out of these, but I didn't really. They just kind of fit in this little area here, which doesn't really do anything other than hold those, and that's it. They did a great job with the shaping there, though. You have some more sticker detailing on the top of the gunship here, so that's kind of interesting, but more interesting to me is the flick-fire missiles on top of here, which was a new feature in the 2008 gunship, something that wasn't on the previous model. And of course, as flick-fire missiles work, you can just turn and burn with them. And if we hopefully line this up correctly, we'll be getting a nice flick on this one. So you can see if you just push them out, they don't work as well. If you do just push them out, though, you can kind of pretend like they're just bombs just kind of dropping. But if you flick them out, they're really like missiles. So it is also kind of nice if you want. You can actually just pull these right on out so that you do not have to have these here if you don't want them. And you can like pretend that they've just kind of like gone back into the gunship, and you can just cover this up with some white tiles or plates or whatever you want to do with that. And I actually think that's really nice. I don't know if that was an intended feature, but it was still really nice if you wanted to have no missiles on top and just kind of clean up the design a little bit more, you could do that. Working to the back here, we have another sticker detail, and if we lift this up, unlike on the future version of the gunship, this doesn't really do anything. There's no storage here. I mean, there is storage here, but it's not usable storage. The newer one was kind of sectioned off here so that nothing would fall in there, but you can't really use this space at all. I mean, some people probably mod this up to be something, but as far as the actual set is concerned and the way it was released, that is just an unusable space, and this just kind of finishes off the shaping on the back. You also have this bubble turret on the back, which works great. You can turn it kind of whichever way you want within its range of motion there. So nice little bubble turret, works just fine. Engines on the top look great, and I actually did kind of miss the bubble turrets on the front, but they work just the same as the one in the back, although not quite as well because they're on a hinged piece there, and you can see without having actually pushed the bubble back here, the whole thing moves back first. So that is kind of annoying, and it is something they did fix come the 2013 gunship, but this gunship did not have it fixed, and it's just kind of an annoying artifact of the way that it is built. I'll give you a good shot of that right there. Just kind of get a better idea what's going on. Here's the underside of the gunship, just kind of plated up. And the final bit of exterior comment I have, I guess, here, before we get to the midsection here, we have these wings, which are actually quite beautiful. They did a really nice job with them. The color matching is quite nice, other than this bright red. I guess they just didn't have this in the darker red, which would have really brought it all together, in my opinion. They did use darker red pieces in the 2002 and 2013 gunships, so it just kind of confuses me as to why they use regular red here, but hey, it is what it is. We also have these nice little ball turrets on the side here, these laser guns, and in episode 2, when you see these in the movie, these don't actually have figures in them. They're not supposed to have figures in them, but it is a feature that LEGO added in themselves, which actually really nice, but unfortunately, we don't have an extra clone trooper laying around that can just sit in one of these. So again, this is where the set really starts to fall apart, is with its only 5 minifigures. You really don't have enough clone troopers to fill out and populate the set, which is rather annoying. And the mechanism for this did not age well because I guess it gets stuck in this vertical position, and you really have to put a little work into getting it to go back down. If you want to pick up and carry this set, usually you would pick it up like this. However, I will say in my experience, this is not a good way to do it because it will eventually shatter in your hands. Like the top section will fall apart from the bottom section, and you're not going to have a very good day, okay? Like you just don't want that to happen. So typically, really, you're going to want to pick this up with 2 hands, probably one supporting the front bottom side here. That's going to be the way to go because this one didn't have a handle. There's no handle built into the set like in the 2013 version where you can just pick it up. And so you're picking it up by these things that are only attached really by bricks. There's not too much Technic connection going on there. There's a little bit, but not enough to keep it together. So it will fall apart in your hands over time given the day-to-day stresses of some movement with the set. So just keep that in mind. You also have some compartments here on the side that open and close. They are on both sides. The set is pretty much the same on both sides, very symmetrical in that way, which I appreciate. I love symmetrical designs, but let's get into the interior here. We'll start off with this front section here. You can open up these panels very easily, and within you'll find a mobile command center, which opens up, pops out, and the mobile command center has a couple of spots for minifigs here with a little antenna, kind of like a little control there. So this is kind of reminiscent of what we ended up getting in the 2013 battle pack, just really scaled down. It does have a sticker here with one piece that is the same as like the pieces that we saw on the cockpit for the control panels, but the other one is kind of unique. So that's interesting there as far as the designs go. But like I said, just a pretty simple little build that they included, and you're able to store in this little section. You can take it out and do whatever you want with that. One of the great things about this gunship that I remember from back in the day is how much people modified this thing. I mean, they really did change this thing up quite a bit back in the day. It was one of those sets that just really lended itself very nicely to that. And it actually, as we get into the middle section, or the troop bay, I'll talk a little bit more about that because that's one of the areas where that did particularly happen a lot. The next section here houses the Bacta tank for healing. So I guess we can take our Obi-Wan minifigure here, and you can open this up because it's on a little hinge piece. And with Obi-Wan in there, you can see it does look a little bit awkward, a little bit crammed in there, but I think that's about as good as they could do for a design like this. And that does fit in this little compartment here. So it's got a little bump there, and that's basically the way that kind of rides up and over to fill in the space there, and it just kind of makes sure it doesn't fall out very easily, although it could fall out. But then you have these panels that come down and attach, well, they don't really attach, but they close up and make sure that that thing is not going anywhere during flight. See if we turn it to the side, it's not going anywhere. So as we move into the troop bay here, if we can open up these doors, you can see they actually have some very nice trans clear pieces here, at least dark trans clear pieces, which add a nice bit of depth to the panels here. And that's actually very accurate to what you see in the Clone Wars, so I really like that. But there is a smaller door on the front, larger door on the back. And I think what a lot of people would do, because one of my least favorite things about the set is that these doors just didn't close flush. And I mean, that's a hard thing to do, I know. But you can see they just don't close flush. You can see there's a little gap here. And most people would take this off of this hinge, attach it to this, and just have it all move as one to the back. And it did look a lot better when it was closed, but obviously having one giant panel to the back does look a little bit awkward and isn't quite as movie accurate. We'll go ahead and open up the other panels here as well. And you can see you have this very nice interior space with plenty of room to place your minifigs on these back studs there. They once again use these flat tile plates with these studs on the back there. I don't really love that because if they use the regular plates with studs all over, you would be able to put a lot more minifigs on this. And that is one of the things that people did mod this set to do a lot back in the day, is they'd grab some 4x12 plates or whatever, and they'd have them span the entire width of the gunship here, and then you could put a ton more minifigs inside the gunship. And the only real thing you'd have to forego to do something like that is take out this whole speeder bike assembly, which I will show you here real quick. If we flip the gunship to the back, you can see this little panel here can actually drop right on down very easily, and then out comes your little speeder bike. And this speeder bike isn't really a special design. We've seen some very similarly designed to this, both in this color and in white with the Snow Trooper battle pack. So this is definitely a speeder design that is not unique to this set, but you can take a minifigure, as I show on the box, Polokuo. We'll get him on there hopefully very easily, and you can have them riding the speeder bike. So it's a nice speeder bike, and this set again is full of surprise like this. You have the speeder bike, you have the command center, and the back of tank. So you have three little things you can kind of pop out, and especially for kids back in the day, I think those were really awesome inclusions. But we can close this back up, and I'll show you the assembly for that. And so looking back on the inside, you can see if you were to take out that middle section there and take off these tile plates, you could basically just put in regular plates and have as many minifigs as you could really fit in there, versus the very limited minifigure space you get with just this one row of studs to place them on. So just an interesting quirk of the design and the way it worked out there, but I do like how clean it looks with the tile plates there. Loading the speeder back in is an absolute breeze with the back panel open. You literally just slide the speeder back in just like that. Kind of clips into place. It doesn't really clip into place, but it definitely like has a spot, right? And you know when it's in the spot. Close up the doors very nice and easily here, and your gunship is ready for flight. You'll also see a couple of clips there that I did not mention, but you can put like guns or lightsabers on there for your minifigures. So that's just nice extra storage they were able to include there. And that's basically the entire feature set of the 2008 gunship. Let me give you my final thoughts. I'm going to land on an 8 out of 10 for this gunship. I find the minifigure selection to be decent, but not good enough. I mean, you gotta include more Clone Troopers in a $120 clone-based set. That's the end of the line for me. I just really feel like there should have been more regular Clone Troopers in the set. At least one more. Like, at the very least, there should be 2 regular ones. Like, there just isn't enough to populate the set, and I really do not appreciate that when you're paying $120 for something. On top of that, the other knock against this set that I have is that the doors don't line up perfectly. I know it's gotta be perfect, but it's a knock against the set. The bubble turrets on the front here are a little weird, and then on top of that, the set, the way there's no handle, like it would for me at least back in the day, fall apart. And let's not forget how poorly the stickers age on this particular set, or at least in my original case with this set. They aged really poorly, and 12 years later I had to buy a new one because they were so bad. So that's just the way I look at this. There definitely are some fundamental flaws with it, but it was a great upgrade over the 2002 model. Not that I may think it's better than the 2002 model. I don't know. I still have to do my comparison video, so keep your eye out for that. But this is going to be a really competitive comparison video between the 2008 gunship, the 2002 gunship, and the 2013 gunship off to the side there. So that is it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this set down in the comments section below. It's a great set, a classic from 2008. It definitely has its flaws, but still an amazing set from the time. Thank you all for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.